Decided voters from across the country and across the political spectrum. In our latest installment of the Deciders series, we found some movement and a lot of thoughts.
My name is Stephen Beck, and I'm from Madison, Alabama. In past election cycles, I have not been undecided. This would probably be the first time I've been truly undecided, especially this late in the game.
My name is Jessica Dalton. I'm from Salt Lake City, Utah. Undecided, I think, is too vague of a term. I've always been open to listen to what each candidate has to offer and making my decision based on who the candidate is rather than what the party is offering.
I'm Zach Warren, and I'm 35 years old, based in Chambersburg, Pennsylvania. I'm one of those voters that does wait to the last second. I remember even back to like 2008 and 2012 and 16, I always wake up on election day and make that choice because there's a lot of things that can happen between now and November.
My name is Stephen Stone. I'm in Brooklyn. I have to choose between Kamala or just not voting for the president in this election.
I'm Robert Lilly. I'm from Wickenburg, Arizona. I typically don't decide, and for sure, I'm not 100% until election time.
My name is Anna, and I live in the suburb of Phoenix, Arizona. Before the debate, I was already against Trump. That's not happening. I don't trust either of them as commander-in-chief or even as necessarily head of government.
I would say that neither lived up to my expectations. One of the things that I had difficulty with throughout the entire debate was the lack of specifics.
It seems like a race to the bottom more than anything. It's not about anybody having any sort of real ideology and the concerns of the majority of American peoples at heart. It felt very much about just being better than your competitor.
She went in for the handshake. That actually meant something to me. I think civility is going to be the number one thing. We have to get back to that before we can get back to anything else.
What was interesting and not surprising from Donald Trump was how easily he was baited into getting his ego hurt.
There's just too many lies told by Kamala Harris in the debate, and I expect that to go on.
She did a fantastic job during that debate. I thought that there was some policy depth that was offered. I did feel when I was watching it that they did question him more than they questioned her on some things.
I expected them to say what they said. I would have appreciated additional specifics. I'm sure that in the coming months, I'll be able to do some more additional research. I'll take some time to look and examine that more closely.
After watching Harris come into the debate and how she handled herself, there's no question in my mind that I will be voting for Harris and Walz.
I'm holding out hope and believing that potentially some of these other movements, these leftist movements, again, the Green Party to move her more left as opposed to the right. It does not feel good. At best, I would be holding my nose to vote for Kamala.
Not knowing enough about her is part of the indecisiveness as far as who I'm going to vote for at this point.
Donald Trump, I see as just a much lesser of two evils. And so that's the man I had to vote for.
These are not easy decisions to make. They touch on so many aspects of our lives, and they don't just affect us individually, they affect us globally.
Leading up to Election Day, I'm looking forward to Vice President Harris and Governor Walz speaking more to their economic policies, specifically their small business initiatives. I think those are very important, as well as childcare. I think those go hand in hand, and their stance on women's health care.
I wish I could vote for my values in this election. I'll still be voting because there's a lot of down ballot votes that are important to me, as you know, there should be to everyone.
Not voting is never an option. That is my privilege as an American citizen. People have laid down their lives for that, and I will vote in every election that I'm asked to vote in.
As divisive as it is, I still think that I still have like this belief that we're going to be okay and that we're going to do the right thing and that things are going to be all right.
Pop culture and politics have a history of crossover, and these intersections take on new significance during an election year, when campaigns jockey for endorsements from the entertainment industry's biggest stars, hoping their candidate will latch onto mainstream pop momentum.
This summer, it was the fluorescent Kamala is Brat phenomenon, a meme started by British singer Charlie XCX on social media and then echoed by the Harris campaign and voters across platforms. 100 years earlier, when viral was not a good thing. A different kind of celebrity endorsed the country's 29th president, Warren G. Harding. Vaudeville movie star and singer Al Jolson wrote a song especially for him. Harding, you're the man for us.
And Mr. Harding, we've selected you. So it's Harding, lead the GOP.
The idea hit, and by 1960, another superstar, Frank Sinatra, sang of his high hopes for a John F. Kennedy presidency.
Everyone is voting for Jack, 'cause he's got what all the rest lack.
Sinatra's Rat Pack mate, Sammy Davis Jr., threw his weight behind Richard Nixon, and the celebrity role was locked in. Boxing legend Muhammad Ali endorsed Ronald Reagan, a celebrity actor in his own right. In 2008, it was Oprah, a beloved multimedia icon, making her first political endorsement for Barack Obama.
You ready to run for Hillary?
8 years later, pop stars Katy Perry and Demi Lovato backed Hillary Clinton. The 2024 presidential race is no different. On the last night of the Republican convention in Milwaukee, singer Kid Rock kicked off a big-name lineup. A few minutes later, retired wrestler Hulk Hogan ripped off his shirt to reveal a Trump-Vance logo. Just a few weeks later, rapper Lil Jon strode into the Democrats' convention in Chicago, one of a bevy of celebrity endorsements. Actress Eva Longoria and singers Pink and Stevie Wonder lent their voices to the Harris Waltz ticket, the latest in generations of stars giving shine to politicians.
But how important are these celebrity endorsements, and do they actually make a difference in changing voters' minds? Earlier this week, I spoke with Mark Harvey, author of Celebrity Influence, Politics, Persuasion, and Issue-Based Advocacy, to help answer that question. Mark, we're going to talk about whether celebrity, their factor in a race, makes any difference at all. But first, I want to switch this around. Why do celebrities do this? What's in it for them to get involved in politics?
That's a really complicated question. First of all, I think you could say that, many of them just have the same impetus as any of us would be. That is, maybe they feel very strongly about an issue and they just want to share. Taylor Swift, for example, for a long time wasn't involved in politics, but then she claimed that she got involved because she wanted to be on the right side of history. And so there's that individual aspect. However, there's always a risk when they get involved in that taking one side or another may also alienate some of their core fan base.
We mentioned a major celebrity in this story, Oprah. Major celebrity, of course. What do we know about exactly how her endorsement mattered for Barack Obama? And is she the rule or is she the exception?
As far as what we know, she's the exception to the rule. That's not to say that celebrities don't make a difference at all. It's just difficult to measure. However, in this specific case, we can demonstrate that Oprah Winfrey probably made the difference in maybe 1 million votes or so in the Democratic primary back in 2007 to 2008 that brought Barack Obama to become the candidate.
And we know that was a very close primary. Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama went back and forth in the early days. How did she make a difference? What was it that she did? Was it just the fact that people admired her?
Yes, I think that's a lot to do with it. She has a certain amount of gravitas. She already had the so-called Oprah effect, where she could endorse a book and suddenly everybody's reading it. And so she really had that kind of unique credibility at that particular moment.
You have said that celebrity endorsements really work when the endorsement kind of matches some aspect of their profile, that there could potentially be a mismatch. What exactly does that mean? When does this work? When does it fail?
Well, let me just give you an example maybe to put things in context, right? There was a study done a number of years ago with Jessica Simpson, well, about Jessica Simpson anyway. And the question is, what is she able to sell? And what the study indicated is that she was quite good at selling perfume, not good at all at selling pocket knives. And so a lot of this really has to do with image, like what kind of, and it's sort of an evasive and elusive thing, but what makes this particular person match up with this product? That's true for sales of product, but I also would argue it's probably true in terms of selling an issue or selling a candidate.
Well, how does that apply to politics?
Here's a good example. We talked about how Taylor Swift recently endorsed Kamala Harris. What would happen if she had instead endorsed Donald Trump? I know that seems a little bit far-fetched given her her predisposition, the way that she stands on certain issues, and we know how she feels about Donald
I'm sure
Trump.
Donald Trump thought about this very question.
Exactly. And in fact, he created an AI image to
Right.
try to make it look like, or at least rebroadcast an AI image that suggested that maybe she did support him. But that's the thing. All you have to do is watch the Era Tours movie or follow Taylor Swift in the smallest amount, and you realize that she's not a Donald Trump person. And so there's a break in credibility when somebody does something that just seems against character for that person.
Now, in your book, you specifically look at issues advocacy. Is there a set of issues that really seem to get more traction from a celebrity assist and some that don't?
Absolutely. So the ones that are where a celebrity is most likely to be persuasive are those ones that are sort of in the middle that people aren't 100% committed to yet. So maybe certain foreign policy issues at times. There's a whole host of issues where maybe if they're not too solid, there's some room. But if you look at other issues like, say, gun control, the death penalty, abortion, people are really set in on those issues. And Taylor Swift is not going to be able to persuade you that it's time to give up your guns.
I know you mentioned a study where people talked about foreign policy and said, what if a celebrity could influence you on that? And the answer in that study was yes. I want to ask you in terms of the voting groups we're talking about, though. Are there different age groups that are more influenced by celebrities? And are these the same groups that vote in large numbers?
Yes. Well, a lot of research suggests that maybe young people are more influenced by celebrity. In my research, there was no correlation, that it really didn't matter what the age group was. There wasn't any sort of connection that I could find anyway in terms of age group. There's some recent research, in fact, some stuff that I've done. We just did a survey a month ago with 1,000 respondents that suggested maybe fandom has a lot to do with it. That is, you have to not only know about the celebrity, but care about the celebrity in order for that celebrity to be influential.
Mark Harvey, thank you so much.
You are welcome.